So, we're recording. This is Burn the Ship.
Yeah.
Officially, you made it.
Thank you.
Thank you. I appreciate you coming. Our goal of Burn the Ship is always to introduce entrepreneurs with professionals that can help you go all in on your business, right? People that have walked the walk and talked the talk and been through the challenges that you face as an entrepreneur. And we want to learn from your story and your strengths and bottle some of those up and teach the people behind the camera what they need to add to their bag to be successful entrepreneurs. So without stealing any of your thunder, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, introduce your business, tell us what you do.
Of course. All right, everybody. I'm Summer Dion. I own Dion Cosmetics, which is a cruelty-free and a vegan cosmetic company that caters to every skin tone, gender, and level of makeup artistry. So that's what I do. And I'm the CEO and founder. Just jumping right back into it. I started makeup actually when I was 14 years old, rebellious in high school, wanted to do things, I wanted to look older. You see the girls on, back then TikTok wasn't around, so we had YouTube, seeing all the girls do their get ready with me for school. And I was like, Mom, I really want to do that too. Like, I want to put on all the makeup. And she was like, no, you're going to mess up your skin. You're going to look too older. You're going to attract the wrong attention, And I was like, but it's an art to me. Like, I wanted to see more than just, the actual like lustful side of like glamming yourself up. I liked the art behind it. I liked special effects. I liked seeing watching gory movies and being like, oh my god, I gotta recreate that. And so my best friend, who's also pretty rebellious, she was like, I'm buying you an eyeshadow palette, like whatever, we're just gonna go into it. And I said okay, and I would sneak it and I would hide it under the bathroom counter. And if my mom was like running errands, I would like use that as my opportunity to use that palette and take it off. And
you even just kind of practicing.
Absolutely. Like practice really makes perfect. And so in high school, I would wake up extra early. Like we had to be there at 8 o'clock in the morning. I don't know. And I would wake up super early, do my makeup at the school in the freaking weight room bathroom. All the football players are like, I'm like, mind your business. Like doing my makeup. And before I got home, I would take it off because I just loved it. It was like an option for me to express myself. And I feel like, I'm also a pastor's kid. So I always had like a microscope under me, don't wear those, don't wear too much, don't be too loud, don't have an opinion, And I think that makeup was such like an art for me where I was like, this is my outlet, and just, of course, the practice did make perfect. And I started taking clients and I expressed my interest to my father, who is also an entrepreneur. He owns a consulting firm in DC. And so I was like, Dad, like, what I'm talking about, like having a dream and wanting to make it happen. And so he's like, yeah, get through school. I was a tennis player at the time too. He's like, get through, the regionals and get through that. And then we could talk about it. And maybe even, you'll be a senior in high school next year. So think about where your university, journey might look like. And I ended up going to the University of Alabama.
Where'd you go to high school?
I went to North Cobb Christian.
Oh, nice.
High school, yeah. So it was
close
really,
to us.
Yeah, and it was another opportunity for me feeling like I was under a microscope because it was a Christian school. Okay?
Oh, yeah. No, I get it.
Like, all my friends were going to their public schools, having the parties and doing it. And I'm, I loved it. I do love my experience I had, but I wanted more of an outlet for myself, especially those high school years. You're like, what I want to do, what I want to be.
Sure, yeah.
The most I expressed myself was on a violin in my orchestra class. So when I found the makeup and I expressed my interest to my father, he was super on board, but he wanted me to do it the right way. Not just save up your money on the side from, working at Smoothie King and just, having that experience in the background. He was like, go to school, find a school that really has a great business program, that you can really learn from people, and even outside of cosmetics, because I suck at chemistry. I wasn't going to be a cosmetic chemist, but I was like, I love business. I love learning people. I see the problems that people have, So I did that. I went to the UA. I got my major was in Spanish, and then my minor is in entrepreneurship. And after then, I saved up all my coin and launched my business in 2020 during the pandemic. And here we are today.
So tell me a little bit about kind of the ins and outs in the business. First of all, actually, congratulations.
I appreciate
that. That is a long time to have your eyes on one thing.
Yeah.
That's a long time. That's, from I guess 16 when you were a junior in high school to graduate at what, 22?
Yeah, it was 2014.
That's 6 years of like, you know, very, very composed, methodical thought to be so young.
Yeah.
So congratulations in the first place. That's really, really cool.
Thank you.
Tell me about kind of those first days. Like, what were you buying? What were you selling? Kind of how did you get the actual business beginning to turn the machine?
Okay. So I am going to backtrack a little bit. So before I really, really decided I wanted to do a cosmetic company, I knew, you know, with my makeup artist background, I just know I really loved helping people, whether, you know, that could be even with homework or just even small instances. I love pouring into people in any way. And it just so happened that makeup was, you know, something I loved. So I knew that when I created a line, I wanted to create products that everybody could use. You know, when you go shopping and you go to stores, you are expected to already know how to use what you buy. Minus the instruction manual, of course, how to put it together. But if you buy, like if you're cutting your own hair at home and you buy a clipper or, you know, whatever they're called, clippers, they're not going to be like, okay, here's how you do this, this is. You have to take that extra work, you know, to find that. Or even go to like barber school or have the resources around you. And a lot of people don't have those resources. When I was 14, like I was saving up my Smoothie King checks to buy $20 lip gloss, you know. I don't have an extra $200 to take a professional makeup course, you know, but I wanted to use makeup. So when I launched my products, I said, everybody needs to be able to use my products, not just the ones who have, you know, makeup background or they're professionals or they're Cosmo students. Everybody, like even the girls who are, you know, maybe a little insecure, they want to do something for themselves. Like it shouldn't be like a hard task to do that. So we launched in 2020 in October with our loose setting powder. We have 6 shades. I wanted everybody to wear it. Contrary to a lot of Black-owned cosmetic companies, a lot of Black-owned ones cater to specifically Black consumers because there is like a gap for that. And I get that. I totally, you know, I resonate with that as a Black woman, but I wanted, like I said, everybody.
Sure.
Everybody wants to use makeup. Everybody wants to get into it. And I wanted to create a luxurious experience. So in 2020, we launched with the loose setting powder. We launched with a few beauty tools, and then we expanded as we went on. And I said, I want everyone to use it. So how can I do that? You know, I said tutorials. Like I started out as a beauty YouTuber. So I was like, it's a second nature for me. You know, create tutorials with my products. How cool is that? And then I put the QR codes on all the products. So when you're using them and you're starting to do your makeup, it's not okay, I'm nervous to ask because a lot of people are introverted. They're going to like either fail in private or just never figure it out. So I said, okay, have these tutorials for people, women, everybody, and have products that are affordable where you're not breaking the arm and leg and you're not like, okay, so I really want this, but like, you know, I wanted that for everybody. And I knew also with that being said, I wanted everyone to have my products, not just be able to use them, I wanted them to have them. So I immediately was like, Amazon, you know, everybody shops on Amazon. Everybody uses Amazon. A lot of people are probably intimidated to go to Sephora and Ulta because when you go in there, the clerks and the, you know, artists there are like, do you need any help? They can have a really kind of like a prestigious like atmosphere. It's kind of like if you're in here, you know what you're doing. And that's not good for somebody who's nervous already, you know? So I was like, Amazon, you can order at the comfort of your home and it's quick and everyone knows how to navigate it. And we were able to do that January the year following, you know? So that's how we started.
Sure. And tell me, you know, as you have these, so are your tutorials now, you create those, you're on YouTube, your product has like a QR code to...
Yeah, so there is a Dion Cosmetics YouTube channel. I actually do a lot of my work on models because I like to be a little voiceover and just kind of use faces that people see all the time. And like a fun fact with our campaigns, I don't really hire professional models. I use all my friends. I used girls at the school when I was back in school. I would use my coworkers at, I used to work at Longhorn.
Oh, nice.
So I'm also a steak connoisseur. No. But I would have like my coworkers come in all ages. Like I don't care if you're 16 or 60. you know. Like I said, I want everyone, and I like my age beauty clients. I like, everything.
Oh yeah, and building that brand that this is a very adaptable piece of merchandise, right? Like it can be used for so many different things.
Right.
Like I just experienced that yesterday, I think, for the first time, to get off on a little tangent, but my wife yesterday was upset trying to do her makeup because she bought her makeup when she was tan last year, right? She's not as tan this year because we haven't been out of the house as much this year, right? So she's like, I got to go buy all new makeup to match where my skin is right now, and then hope I can tan enough to get back into my regular set of makeup, right? So like the adaptability, like all of this thing can be over this long spread of clients that have different needs, and people can find what, people can get used to the way that your beauty supplies work and find what works for them at that point in their life is a very valuable thing to your brand. Talk to me a little bit about the manufacturing side, right? Because in my mind, it's like, and I know a lot about business because I've done 300 of these episodes. Absolutely. I've asked every industry about it, every question that I can think of, and I don't even know where to start as far as the manufacturing goes. I would have to just pick up my cell phone and start calling people until somebody told me what to do. So how did that go for you? How did you kind of uncover how the manufacturing side went?
Okay, so back in 2014 is when I actually registered my business. That was when it was born. And around then, that's when I did a lot of my research because we didn't have TikTok. We had Google. We had the library. We had, places like that. So I had to search, okay.
The library sounds like such an ancient place. It's so crazy.
I don't even know how to find a library. But, no, yeah. So I knew I had to, decide what I was going to have my products. Okay, I get it. I wanted to have products for everybody to use. I wanted it to be easy. So I wanted to start with products that either if you wear a lot of makeup or you want like something quick, you can still use it. So I was going to do first lipstick. That's how we started out because, it's super easy. You don't really need a lot of help, but I mean, I wanted to just start with that. I found a manufacturer originally out of Atlanta, but they were wanting high MOQs. So I was like, okay, I'm only 14. I can't order 20,000 lipsticks. Yeah. Like, I'm not Kylie Jenner. But I was like, okay, well, I can get an idea of what I want and what the process looks like. And then as I, learned in the business school and I talked to more of my mentors, I was able to have more resources with the people they knew and their connections. And a lot of our stuff, so everything is made everywhere, and that's okay to me. I don't think that you need to just have everything in one place. I think you get your best products and the best ingredients from wherever you can.
I agree too. As long as the one product is consistent, if it comes from everywhere, that makes your brand more consistent.
Right, and I mean, I have international customers. Why not have international ingredients?
Yeah, 100%. And people are good at different stuff. Right. Like, people are set up for different stuff. Some people are going to do stuff better than other stuff. Some people are going to have ingredients that other people don't have.
Exactly. So we started out with the loose setting powder out of China because it was the most inexpensive. They're the most, flexible with my low. Me starting out, I didn't know what I was doing. I didn't really expect the traffic I got for launch week. Like, I'm a junior in college and it's about to be finals and it's COVID and all this stuff. So I was like, let me see what I could put aside and will you guys do that for me? And they were like, yes, but, we'll send you a couple samples first to even you could try it out on myself. I was still taking clients in college, so I was using it on them. My friends, I let them take it home. I was like, let me know how this is. They're like, whose is this? So I was like, I would just send it like in PR. So like, just try it out. And the responses I got from everybody was perfect. Like from the size, from the shades, from the actual product. They were like, this is amazing. Like, whose is this? What is this? And I was like, like I said, I would just send it. I was very chill about it because I was really like imposter syndrome, And
it's hard to be like, that's mine before you have enough to like fill the demand. You know what I mean? That's a tough place to be.
Exactly.
So early on,
So
but you have to throw a lot of resources at that early,
A lot of it, and a lot of research too, because you guys see what your competition's doing.
Oh yeah.
I was at Ulta more than I was at the library, like on campus. Yeah. I was there every single day, knew me by name. Because I had to see, like, what was coming out. I had to see, like, what ingredients do they use? What are people liking? Like, what are they, getting from this? So I got the loose setting powder out of China. And then I knew, okay, a lot of the trends, especially right now, is like everyone has like their green thumbprint, or was it green thumb or something, with like packaging. So I said, okay, like I want to find recyclable packaging. Who does it the most inexpensive? And it ended up for me being Pakistan. And I was like, okay, let's do that. I got my packaging for the loose setting powder done separately. I got it made recyclable material because one of my really good friends is an environmental engineer. And for her, she's like very, big on the, reduce, reuse, recycle. So I was like, okay, like I'm going to put it in there. And so everyone can use it. And I said, and it has to be vegan. And it has to be cruelty-free. So that's where we started out for the loose setting powder. I'm just going to hone on our hero product for that.
Sure, absolutely. And so when you say vegan and cruelty-free, what is that? How do you know that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
What is the research that goes into that?
Okay, so a lot of brands I've noticed when I first came out is a lot of people will just throw that anywhere. Kind of like
that's what I feel too.
A lot of people do that. And I'm a nerd in the beauty world. So if I see a business with that, I'm looking up their ingredients like immediately. And you can also,
so that's how you backtrack it, is to the ingredients of what is actually making up the...
Right. Exactly. And then also the manufacturers and labs, they have to also get certified. So they can't just sell just anything, especially if they want American businesses to use it.
It's like the FDA.
FDA is regulated.
Yeah.
So they are regulated, just like when you walk into a restaurant, they have like the 100 sign on the, hopefully 100 on the wall. Everything's regulated. And so when I was looking for manufacturers, I needed that. I needed to see everything, and I made it very clear that whatever this formula is going to be, I need it to be vegan, not that I am vegan, but I know a lot of people do look at those things and it's an important factor.
Yeah. Well, and they're, like when you're operating kind of at the scale that you're operating at, though, it kind of becomes a different thing because like veganism and pescatarianism and vegetarianism, all of those things are very personal choices, right?
Right.
But then when you start looking at it from a business perspective, you have to think about like the scale that your business operates at. You know what I mean? Because like, all right, let's say you are on the same level as Kylie Jenner. Like I'm sure your makeup will be in the future, right? Let's say you're doing, a million or 2 million products every time you drop a link on your Instagram, right? Well, your footprint of what you're doing to the environment is exponentially larger than whether I, recycle the 5 pieces of paper that I use in my office every day. Like there's millions and millions of packaging, millions of ingredients that come from animals and all of those things. So you kind of have to look at it from a different lens as well, whether that's your personal choice or not. So I understand that too from a business perspective because it's a huge, huge, huge impact.
Yeah. And you know how they say you can't... you can't make everybody happy. No, but in business, like you try to make every single person happy.
Sure.
Because it's a rep you have. It's the with me under the microscope that I'm under, being Black owned. I get looked at way harder than a lot of companies.
Sure.
Especially because I'm so young. They're like, why is that 25-year-old? How is that? Like, what? Like people don't do certain things until they're like in their 40s or 30s, and I started at 21, and so they put me under such a microscope. And I'm like, if that will make everybody happy, if that will make us look good, and it's good for the environment, why not?
Oh, yeah, for sure. I think a good way to look at it is, I heard this early on in my career as well, is give people a reason to say yes. Right?
Absolutely.
Because your customers and the amount of customers that you have to do business with for your business to be successful, right? You have to give people in different demographics a reason to say yes.
Absolutely.
And whether it's the ingredients are vegan or the packaging is recyclable or it caters to every audience or whatever that may be, you have to give all of those demographics at least a reason to say yes, because if they want to bad enough, they'll find a reason to say no.
Absolutely.
That's for sure. So,
especially,
not even like changing your brand to adapt to everyone. It's really just making sure that you're giving people the opportunity to say yes to your product without, building the obstacles for them. So I understand that as well. So you got the manufacturing down a little bit. You added a couple products to your belt. What's business like now?
Okay, so as of today, June 12th, We have 35 SKUs, which is a lot for a small business. I'm also kind of impulsive. Like as a Sagittarius, if I think of something, I'm designing immediately. It's kind of a bad toxic trait. Right now, we're online at Amazon and Walmart. So those are shoppable through there, and also our Shopify website. We also have a makeup artist program. So that's another thing I launched in January of 2022. I launched our makeup artist program through Dion Cosmetics, which was 49 makeup artists across the United States, Mexico, and the UK. Because not only I wanted the products for everybody to use, I wanted everybody to have the quality in an artist if they needed,
Sure.
Another problem I had, and I think my background in makeup really, really helped, because when I was a makeup artist, I would have my loyals, like the people who like use me for their birthday, their wedding, Christmas photos, like all that. And they're like, well, I'm traveling to Tennessee next month. Do you have any makeup artist friends that do makeup just like you? Like, I want it just like you. Or even, can you travel? Can you, whatever. And
come with me.
And you're like, I'm a junior in high school.
Yeah.
And so I was like, no, like my mom would be pissed. So I was like, no, I don't know anybody. Like, I don't know. And every artist is different, I might do heavier or lighter, and it just all depends on the person. And so when I launched my makeup, I said, okay, you got the products, you got the tutorials. Now you need the people. You need to grow. This needs to be bigger than you expected. And in January, like I said, 2020, when I said, okay, I put on LinkedIn like a crazy head. I said, professional makeup artist wanted. And I got literally 250 applications the first day. Like, are you kidding me? And so I literally was doing interviews all day for 2 weeks. Like, literally, like, meeting people. I said, let me see your portfolio. Let me see who you work with. And I'm talking about the most professional people were coming to me. Like, one of my artists out of Brooklyn, she's like, oh, here's my IMDb page. I was like,
okay. So you've been on movie sets, huh?
And she's like, yeah, and I also did makeup for, like, Carrie Underwood. And I was like, what? You're talking to me right now? Like, It was a very, like, oh, my God, like, 14-year-old Summer is shaking. And so I did that. I interviewed all those artists, and I said, okay, we're going to launch, and I'm going to have you guys, stay where you are. You're going to be freelance, and it's contracted. And so I said, we're going to launch this. And when I put that out, the world was like, well, not the world, but social media.
In your mind at that time, right, it was the whole world.
Right, the whole world. But no, social media was like, are you kidding me? If I need a reason to be mad at this girl, like, she just keeps giving me reasons. Mm-hmm. And so, yeah, we launched the makeup artist program, and it's still so good. Like, I love it. I love being able to say, or people who can DM me, hey, I have to go to Chicago for a wedding. Can I book somebody up there? I'm like, yeah, absolutely. And they use my products. And so it's another form of marketing for me. It's just expanding.
So what brings you, like, the most revenue? Was, like, the biggest key to that, making the agreement with Amazon and Walmart, or does your Shopify website get the most traction, or is it the makeup artists that are kind of pumping the most products? Like, what is, like, the most important key to that business as you're getting started?
I will always say my D2C. So my main website, Walmart, Amazon, and there's just the partnerships I have with them. But the makeup artist as well is a really good stream of income for the business. And it also, without just obviously the clientele, the marketing that comes from it is
I think it allows you to scale up like,
crazy.
Really fast.
Yeah. And all my artists have Dion jackets. They all have their business cards and their own personal websites and stuff through Dion. They have Dion makeup artists in their bio. Like, it's, and even if their clients don't buy Dion, they consistently go to Dion for makeup, And I vetted people who apply like me, who have the morals like me, who are able to do, if you want a, bloody arm, they can do it. If you want a bridal face, they could do it. And I made sure that, all my artists have been through cosmetology school.
Oh,
so
nice.
They're all licensed.
Accredited.
And, accredited. That was a really important part for me. So it's just, I wanted that,
Sure.
So I think it all ties in.
No, yeah, you're at a good place.
Thank you. I really appreciate that.
It's like you haven't skipped anything. You know what I mean? That's what you find early on, and sometimes you have to. Like, you can't really fault people for doing what they have to do to get their business off the ground, but you're very methodical. You thought about a lot of things, and it puts you in a cool place. And it looks like kind of what the game plan is for you now is just scale, huh?
Yeah, and keep going. And I think there's like a lot of good resources, a lot of good accelerator programs. You know, Sephora and Ulta have one, and even Target. They're looking all the time because they actually have to allocate a certain amount of space for a BIPOC, BIPOC company in their companies. So I think that those are really good opportunities that I'm looking into. Expanding my network, and then also just listening to what my customers want. I engage with everybody. I'm not thank you. No, I'm like, okay, you like the loose setting powder. What do you think would be better with it? Like, do you prefer wearing it during the day? Like, is it a nighttime for you? And the relationship I have with all my customers, I think is one of my favorite parts.
Yeah, the feedback loop's really important.
Yeah.
It's hard to establish that early on in your business when you're at a lower scale too, but you have that kind of locked in. I have some ideas for you as well.
Really?
I do, yeah. We'll talk about it after. I have some good ideas. I think that you're in a really cool place to do some really cool stuff for your business.
I really appreciate that.
Yeah, no problem at all. For the people behind the camera, what would you say you did really well at the beginning of this whole process? I have in my mind what I think some of your best strengths are, but what would you say was like your biggest strength that helped you keep pushing the ball down the road and be successful early on?
Well, personally, I keep that 14-year-old at the forefront of my vision. Every time I'm like, okay, this is too much. This is overwhelming. There's so much saturation. There's a lot of outside noise that comes when you're wanting to start a business so young, especially when you spent a lot of money at a nice university. They're like, you're going to do cosmetics? You're going to start a business? You have to be able to tune it out. And so I keep that and keep my journey. You know, I do it for the people also that have been there since, you know, I was doing makeup in the bathroom, locked in the closet. And I keep that at the forefront. I think also I love my makeup artists. I think they're also a very key factor in the growth because they are across the country. And they rep my brand really hard. Yeah. I think the way I treat them, because even on birthdays, like I allocate a good budget for their birthdays, you know, I'll send flowers. I do random, like, hey, I'm buying breakfast for everybody. And even for my customers, I might put a Starbucks scannable code because I'm like, here's a thank you. I love thank yous. I love freebies. I love just pouring into it. And I make sure I budget for those things like on the logistical side.
It's big in the consumer space too.
Yeah.
That makes people feel so special. Yeah. $5 Starbucks coffee makes people feel so freaking special. Yeah. I'll tell you this. Do you know a lot? And trust me, I'm sure that you do, and I know that you will forget more than I will ever know about this space. But do you know a lot about Mary Kay Ashley?
Yeah, well, Mary Kay and Ashley?
No, Mary Kay. That's her last
business.
name. Yeah, that's her. That's her actual last name.
Okay, yeah. I do. My mom used to sell it.
So okay, then you have a good understanding of that.
Absolutely.
You've replicated their business model a little bit. Oh, yeah, absolutely.
Oh, thank you.
With establishing products, right? Creating a direct line to get those products to consumers. Right. And then building an army of brand ambassadors that love what you do for them. Right. That is a three-headed monster of a really, really successful B2C business.
Thank you.
Right? Because think about anything that does it, even outside your space. Uber, same thing, right? The products is the technology that they built. They figured out a way to get it directly to consumers, right? Then what do next? Well, they market. They market like crazy. They become a sticker on every sporting event that you go to.
Absolutely.
You know, Uber, I'm going to get an Uber becomes a noun, you know, and not a brand, right? And then what do? They hire drivers and build brand ambassadors that will literally make $35 or $40 an hour with them for life. They take care of those people.
And they're loyal.
Yeah.
Brand loyalty is everything.
Super
doesn't matter
loyal.
what you're selling.
100%, because it's a vehicle for you to get where you want to go. Absolutely. That's what Uber is as a driver. It's for what you want to do next.
Absolutely.
And that your makeup is the same thing. It's the vehicle that I'm going to use to make myself continue to do what I want to do and be successful at it.
Yeah.
You know, that's really what business is, right? You can make all the money that you want. I'm sure there are 100 things that you could have went to school for where you could have gotten a nice salary job after you got out of college and been just content forever, right? And the thing about business is that it's an investment, and as all of us know, in an investment, there's no guarantee.
Never.
You know, you're not guaranteed to win in that investment, right? And it's so cool to see you put so much skin in the game up front and reap some of that benefit, because that's literally what it requires in the B2C world. Like, you see a lot of these days, people want to pitch drop shipping businesses, and people want to ship all of these really, really quick, get rich quick, sell these products, build a website. Like, it's just not a business to me. You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely not.
It takes up real estate in your mind when it's your business all the time. It's never not on your mind. And that is what I think is so special about the way that you did it. And one of your biggest strengths is that you really hit it from several different angles, right? You had several different approaches to the end result that you wanted to replicate. And then you put enough skin in the game to make it happen.
Yeah, and I always say, even when I tell, on the side I do brand strategy and development for other startups. Just all the question and answers I've gotten, I just turned it, to something, an agency. So what I always tell my clients and people is you need to hit your double E, your emotion and the experience. So if you could sell anything, like whether that's a Q-tip or an apple or whatever. That's how brands establish longevity, that trust that they have with their clients or customers, because they're sparking emotion and experience. So I knew that with my company, I needed to hit those, with the tutorials. You're experiencing how to have an actual one-on-one, with the makeup and an artist who's a professional. And the emotion is, this is specifically for you. Like, I know what you're going through. I know what it's like to see girls on the internet. I know what it's like to see them and all the filters, and we're a really filter-centered era, but I know what it's like to see that and want that for yourself and not know how.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure, because you understand it from a customer's perspective and a business perspective.
Absolutely.
Your mind has to be, you just have to have so much perspective.
Absolutely.
That's really, I guess, the way that I would boil it down, is you have to have so much perspective. And you had a tremendous amount of perspective walking into this at 16, but really at 20, 21, I guess.
Yeah, I was like 20.
Dude, you cannot replicate the amount of perspective. It's very, very difficult to do. So congratulations.
Thank you.
What would you say you learned from at the beginning? What did you suck at?
What I suck at? So I think, let me think really quick. I don't know. I'm not trying to boost my head. I think I should have I started all this by myself, I was very, I had imposter syndrome, so I really didn't want to bring people on with me because I didn't want to let them down. I didn't want to be like, okay, never mind, guys. Like, thank you for all the hard work, but I can't do this. Or I didn't want to, I guess, be judged. So I did a lot of stuff by myself. I'm the everything. I am the supply chain, I'm marketing, I'm SMS, I'm all that, well, when I first started. And so I think starting out, I may have probably brought on another person with me to help me out where I lack, because a lot of CEOs are good at everything, but they're not great at one thing.
Oh, yeah.
So I think that was one of the key factors is, I had a lot of decision making on my own, outside of sampling and testing, but I think bringing another person on probably would have been even better to have, another brain or a voice in my ear. Maybe.
Never know.
Never. But it's it's always tomorrow. I love tomorrow.
Oh yeah, for sure. But yeah, I could see that. I could see that having been a benefit to you, because you have, so much perspective. It's hard to divide and conquer the things that you have to do on a daily basis to make it successful. One thing at the beginning, I think that you probably learned from, right, is something that I think probably everyone behind the camera that's walking down that road of getting used to running their own business right now is learning from, right? You're wearing a lot of hats.
Absolutely.
You're wearing so many hats.
Yeah.
Right. You did it the most the way that sets you up for success in the future, because you wear one hat until you've got that hat figured out, and then you put another one on, right? You figure out the market, you figure out the manufacturing, you figure out the marketing, and then you figure out the creating a team, you know what I mean? So like you wear them one at a time. I think that you can automate some of those things.
Oh,
right?
I would always say that.
Yeah, you can make some of those things not take up that valuable real estate in your mind. You know what I mean? Because you wanted so much control, and the reason for people to say yes, that there are probably ways, like what those incubators and what those accelerator programs will probably teach you, right, are tools and resources that you can lean on to not have to have that conversation with yourself in your head every day. You know what I mean? Like, I think for the people behind the camera specifically, I would err toward what you did than what I did if you're starting your own business and you're unsure of exactly what the future looks like. Sure. But there are things out there and resources that can make some of those hats that you have to wear and some of those skills and tools that you have to add to your bag, like that they can make it a little bit easier to acquire, right? And you grew slowly because that was like the amount of success that you had lended to yourself.
I mean? Yeah, in the beginning I did limit myself.
Like, what was your first order, like quantity wise?
So
it was probably the MOQ for whatever the manufacturing was.
No, so we had 6 shades. I literally did 50 of each shade, which is...
So you did 300
300. And then
you sold them out in a day?
The first 2 days.
Yeah.
And then I had also, I did 50 for everything. I did 50 brushes. I did 50... what else do I have? Sponges. I did 50 of those. All of those sold because what people did was they wanted one. They're like, okay, we're going to see what Dion is about. Yeah. We're going to get everything. Especially I did bundles too that first week. And I think I also didn't know how big this could have been. Oh, yeah. It was kind of like everyone has a business. So I'm going to just do it and it'll probably be gone in a few months. And here we are in 3 years and I'm on a podcast.
Yeah,
So we did 50 and now we do about 500 each. So almost, what is that?
10x?
I don't know. I'm a Spanish major.
Yeah, that's 10x. You still speak Spanish a lot?
Claro que sí. Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yes, I think that you could have pushed the ball down the hill a whole lot faster.
I was so nervous.
No, I get it. Trust me, I get it. And for the people on the camera, I'll double down what I was saying before. Be more nervous.
Yeah.
Be more like you than what I am saying.
Yeah.
Right? Err on the side of caution and financial responsibility more than you err on the side of betting on the fact that you are the next big thing in whatever your space is.
Yeah.
But in hindsight, we look back and say, okay, we could have been a little more aggressive, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna sell regardless. If I buy too much, I'm like,
you're gonna figure out a way to sell it because that's who you are.
It's just second nature.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna waste my money ever. Never.
No, I love that. I love it because it's easy to do in a B2C brand. Oh my God, you can waste hundreds of thousands of dollars.
Especially when all my stuff has expiration dates on it.
Yeah. How long does it take? It's like a shelf life, I guess.
Depending on what the product is. So if liquids, they last a little bit longer, and just depends. Eye products are not going to be lasting that long because your eyes are so much bacteria. But my loose setting powder is 36 months, so that's 3 years, and that's for my powder, and I restock it on a almost 3 to 4 month basis, so they're always pretty nice. Good, and that's after opening.
So you're not running into those problems really.
And I make sure everything's super sealed and longevity.
No, yeah, I love that.
Thank you.
Yeah, there's always things that we can learn from. Hindsight is always 20/20, but I don't think you did anything wrong. Yeah. Obviously, it's going pretty well.
Thank you.
No. Thank you.
Oh.
Thank yourself. You know what I mean?
Thanks.
Yeah, no, you did a good job. That's it's really, really cool. It's really cool to see those things because it's so difficult.
Mm-hmm.
I equate it to a restaurant a lot, right? Mm-hmm. The day you open a restaurant, there's like a 50% chance that you close the door within a year, right? And we know that because of my industry. There's about a 70% chance that you close it in the first 3 years. Why? Mm-hmm. You're competing with everybody around you. You're a consumer brand, and you don't hit your double E's. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? That's not what you're thinking about. You're not spending all of your resources on emotion and experience when people come into your restaurant. You're spending it on the logistics side. You're trying to get cheaper food. You're trying to sell the food for less. You're trying to be more competitive on the ticket side of things. And, like, what's the best place to eat in Atlanta? Like, just experience, emotion, all of those things, right? Because I'll give you 2 examples.
My favorite place to eat is the Southern Gentleman.
Okay.
It's in Buckhead Village.
That is a wonderful, wonderful answer.
Okay.
Right? That is a wonderful answer.
Right, okay.
I've been there a bunch of times,
Mm-hmm.
right? I'll give you another staple of Atlanta.
Okay, let me hear it.
The Varsity.
Okay, yeah. That's everybody's here. People literally drive here to go.
People go
there.
out of the way to go to the Varsity.
Literally.
Why?
Well, I don't know.
It's hot dogs.
I know it's a burger. It's cookout.
It's cookout.
It's bougie Wendy's.
The experience.
Absolutely.
The experience of standing in that line and people asking you, what do you have? And getting your stuff and sitting out there where you're sitting right beside Georgia Tech and down. Like, the experience and emotion that they create every single time that someone comes in is so unique that their business is successful, that they add them everywhere.
Right. It doesn't matter what they're selling.
It doesn't matter what their average ticket is. Probably $7. I go in there and I fill myself full where I can't eat for 2 days off of $11. You know what I mean? It's not like they're selling the most expensive food to the highest value customer.
I agree. Yeah.
So focused on what the experience and emotion is every time that they talk to those people.
Yeah, and I think people miss so many opportunities when they're starting a business, because I meet with a lot of aspiring entrepreneurs on a daily basis, and they always want to start out with, I want to have a luxury this. I want to have luxury this.
And you don't even know if that's your customer.
That's not, I said, you need to fit. What is the problem?
That's a wonderful question.
Take away the product. Like, take away cosmetics. Take away, like, all of this. I said, what is the problem? Like, find the solution, and then you find the answer to the solution, And so everyone wants to do luxury. They're like, I want to do purses. I want to do $300 purses. I want to have Chanel prices. And I'm like,
are you going to be Chanel quality?
There's a reason why Walmart is way more lucrative than Chanel.
Yes, by 100-fold.
Five Below, like, launched probably, 10 years ago, and they're, like, on top, too. Like,
oh, yeah.
There's a reason why the dollar store is so popular.
And they know their customer like the back of their hands. They know exactly what people want to buy. They know how much they're willing to spend on it. Absolutely. And they know how many of those things they got to buy to make a profit on them, right?
You don't have to spend, be expensive to make money.
Exactly. And it's not a knock on your brand.
It's not.
It's not at all. Like, if you're what's a Kylie Jenner eyeshadow palette go for?
It's about like $35.
What's yours go for?
Mine was $24.
What are we talking about? What are we talking about?
Yeah.
Does she know her customer?
No. She doesn't.
Her customer's 16.
Right.
But she sells 2 billion of them.
And are they buying because it has your name on it?
Yes. 100%.
Yeah.
And that's cool. You're a savvy business person for that. And you probably make $1 off of every single one of those pallets. And that is absolutely fine.
Absolutely.
But if you know your customer and you understand that customer value journey, right, like that is when you start to boil down some really, really good stuff for your business. So obviously you understood that very, very well.
And you can pivot anytime.
100%.
I could jump into, and I did launch my first skincare product 3 months ago, and that's already, I only have like 5 left.
Yeah.
But, me jumping, like, I'm jumping into skincare. People are like, well, we trust you and love you for cosmetics. So
100%.
I'm going to buy that off
jump away.
Right. I'm going to buy that off the strength that I love the brand.
Yeah.
Can you do that with, you don't know your customers? No,
not at all. Yeah, it's the B2C consumer stuff is so tough. It's so tough.
Yeah,
it really is. And you just have so much to think about that if you can really if you have a very specific answer to these questions that we're asking, you probably set up for success.
The more specific, the better.
Yeah, and avoid the luxury, man. It's so expensive to do luxury stuff.
Yeah.
Like Louis Vuitton's first product ever was luggage.
And it was like 100 years ago.
And it was not for super, super rich people.
Right.
It was just durable. That was their claim to fame, is that we hand make our stuff and it's durable.
Absolutely.
Right? It's a little more expensive, but it's super durable. And that carried them right into the fashion world. Right? They understood their customer. Yeah. And they understand that they're not going to sell 10 million bags a year. They understand that DH Gates going to sell 10 bag for every single one bag that they sell.
Exactly.
And they're cool with it. Because they know their customer, right? And they probably have their hands in a whole bunch of other they probably have their hands in a brand at every level. You know,
Yeah.
they are the luxury side. They probably own a brand on the Walmart-ish
Yeah,
side. They probably
LVMH. They're the best.
Really?
Yeah.
I didn't even know that.
They own like Sephora. They own
Yeah, I figured.
all those. Yeah.
I figured. Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me.
Yeah.
But that's cool. Yeah, hey, there's just a lot of questions that you ask. There's really no way to give people the real blueprint to your industry or industries like yours, because there's just so many questions that you have to ask.
Yeah,
you have to ask 100, and you have to get 100 of them wrong, and ask 100 more, and just what it is.
I think every aspiring entrepreneur, even entrepreneur, you're like, if you just take one piece of advice, is you have no choice. Like for me, I have no choice to fail. Mm-hmm. Like there's no, Have
you heard this illusion burn the ship before?
No, I haven't. We can talk about that.
So burn the ship, right? There's a Spanish conquistador named Hernan Cortez.
Okay.
Right.
What's up?
And this is when Columbus is coming over here and landed in the islands. This is where Ferdinand Magellan, all of these huge wave of Spanish conquistadors are moving around. And Hernan Cortez lands in Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. Pretty much responsible for the whole smallpox portion, but he didn't know.
All right.
But what does he do? So they land on the shore, like in Mexico, modern day Mexico, right? Mm-hmm. You have Incans, you have Mayans, you have Aztecs.
Right, all that.
What does he tell us? The first thing he tells his people to do is burn the ship. Like burn every ship that we bought. We bought a whole Spanish armada, disassemble them, and burn them on the beach. Every one of them.
Oh, wow.
Why?
Why?
They didn't want to go back. He had decided that he was going to be another famous Spanish conquistador.
He said there's no choice. We have to stay. We have to make this
exactly.
work.
We have to say we die here, we live here.
I love that.
That's what business is.
I love that.
That's what business is.
Real business.
Yeah. So tell me that. That's how we always end. First, how do people find you? How do people buy stuff from you? How do people get in touch with you if they want to bend your ear? Any of those things? Okay,
so my personal Instagram is SummerDon Bell, like Taco Bell. And then those are all my personal handles. But Dion Cosmetics is DON Cosmetics official on Instagram, and without the official on TikTok. And to purchase, you can find us on Amazon and Walmart. Just search Dion Cosmetics and you can get specific. Or DionCosmetics.co. That's where you can find us.
So to the burn the ship point, what does it feel like? What does it feel like to burn the ship and commit to your business and decide that I'm going to figure all the things that I need to figure out to make this thing move forward? Right? Like, what does that feel like, and why should other people reach for that same type of feeling?
I think that mindset can be really make or break the entrepreneur. When you have in the back of your head, like, there is no other choice. For me, there is no other choice. I'm an entrepreneur major. Like, that's my degree. I don't have, like, a nursing background where I can just jump to a hospital or I can go to a law firm or, obviously I can go back to school for that. But my background and what my diploma is for is basically you got to make it happen somewhere, So Dion, with that mindset and the way that I, am building Dion Cosmetics, every single day, that's my motto is you don't have other choice, and also I'm going to get kind of personal, but when I first graduated in 2021, I wanted to do like a corporate job and I wanted to have my business because I wanted to have the experience working in a business on their marketing side. And I interviewed so many businesses, and I love the way
you put that. You're interviewing the businesses.
Well, interviewing for the businesses. Lord, it's a habit.
No, that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
Having already been in that entrepreneurship space, that's really what you're doing.
Right. It's like, I'm coming down. No. Yeah. And so I would get in there. I'm super excited. I'm like, oh, I would love to work in your, social media department or even like product development. Like, I'm like, that's me. Like, I literally do this every single day. And, I didn't know I couldn't do that. Because if you go on my LinkedIn, if you go on like my resume, I have Dion and all the accomplishments of Dion, and where my business is, they don't see it as a hobby, So when
they don't want to hire somebody full time for a full time entrepreneur for the full time position,
right? Because it's not like I just do makeup on the side. I sell makeup. Like my brand's at Walmart. Like my brand's in I have a really growing company, and they see that as
Somebody would have to buy the company to hire you.
Yeah, absolutely.
Really?
So when I was going through those, and they would tell me like, we love you. You're a great person. Your personality is good. However, you have outside obligations, to your business, and I had to choose. Am I going to give up that 14-year-old Summer's dream for Dion Cosmetics, or do I go get a 9 to 5 and work someone else's dream? So you either work on yours or you're helping someone else work on theirs, So when I had that and I said, okay, I just can't do that. So now when you have the mindset of Dion Cosmetics is my only option, you move different.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah. Oh, no, you definitely do.
Thanks. Yeah.
Well, I appreciate that. This has been a wonderful podcast.
Oh, really? You're awesome.
You have, you've figured out a lot of stuff. Mm-hmm. You've conquered a lot of stuff. And it's just going to keep throwing, faster fastballs at you.
Mm-hmm.
So you're going to start having to figure out stuff that's more difficult and faster and scaling in different ways and doing different stuff because the game's not over. Trust me.
Makeup is forever.
But, man, what you're doing is cool.
Thank you.
It's tough to get to where you're at and making a B2C because trust me, we work with technology companies and things like that are they have the same goals and it takes them years and years and years to figure it out because it's hard to get that feedback loop and it's hard to get that experience and more than anything, it's hard to get the perspective.
Absolutely.
So you have a bunch of tools. You have a bunch of ammo to make it happen right now.
Thank you so much.
I look forward to it. I want to do this again, especially.
Absolutely, part 2, yeah.
Yeah, in the future, for sure. We'll see. We'll take us, this is your screenshot of where you are right now.
Yeah,
we'll take another one in the future and take another one after that.
Vision board, I got that. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Thank
well,
you,
this is cool. Thank you. If you have anything else to say, please, the floor is yours. But
no, I thank you so much for having me. Like, this was a great opportunity. I feel like it'll be really good to connect with more entrepreneurs, and hopefully this resonates with you all. Yeah, so if you have your passion, your dream, hone into it. Those double E's, emotion and experience, and then never give up.
Thank you. Okay. Burn the ship.